I am going into the Pixagram API project and then authentication app and then into the model to create the user model for our project. Here I'm going to import abstract base user permission mixin and base user manager from Django contract auth models. The abstract base user permission mixin and base user manager. I'm going to define my own user manager, which will inherit from base user manager. I'm going to override create user method, which will take an email, password, which is none at this moment, and some extra keyword arguments, or I'll say extra fields. These will be first name and the last name. I'll check if there is no email, then it will raise value error that user must have an email. When email will be provided, then I shall use email normalize method, which will normalize the portion. For example, if there will be capital alphabets in front of at the rate, then it will normalize it and it will make it smaller like this. If it is written gmail.com, then the normalize method will do like this, gmail.com. Then I shall create the user with the provided credential, email, and extra keywords, argument, or extra fields. For the password, I shall utilize set password method, which is necessary for password hashing and storing the password in the hashed form inside the database. Then I'll save the user and return the user. I will create my user model, define class user, which will inherit from abstract based user and permission mixin. I'll define a field, email field for the user, will be an email field and its maximum length will be 255 and will be unique in the database. If any other person wants to register with the same email, then it will raise an error that email already exists. Now I'll define the first name field, that will be the character field, and its maximum length will be 80, and there will be the last name field, and it will be the models dot char field, and the maximum length will be 80. If more than these characters will be entered, then it will raise the error. Similarly, now I'm going to check if the person who has just registered is active or not. It will be a boolean field. This field is compulsory to check the registered user so that we can send him a link and he will open his own email to verify himself. So then we will activate that guy. Otherwise, we will not allow any user to use our web app. The default for this one will be false. Similarly, if the person is staff or admin, we will use this as boolean field, sorry, models dot boolean field, and the default for this one will also be false. Going to define the manager for my user model, which will be recently created. This manager will be user manager, and now I'm going to define the username field. Username field will be the email field, and there will be more thing that is required fields will be first name. These two fields are compulsory while registering the new user. I'm going to define some method to get short name of the user, and it will return self dot first name. This name will be the short name. Similarly, if we want full name, then we can add it like this: self dot last name, and it will give us the combination for the first name and the last name. Then I'm going to define str method, which is compulsory to see the user in the Django admin database, that is self.email. Whenever we will open the Django admin panel, then the user object which will be created will be shown there with its email ID. In a short, I am going to show you practically what str method does. After defining the user model, we are going to register this model inside the Django admin panel, and here I am going to import my user model, and I'll register the user model here. In the Django admin, I will define user admin class, which will inherit from admin.modeladmin, and what it is going to display inside the Django admin panel. It will show the ID number of the user created, first name, last name, and then the email. These are the fields which will be shown in front of the each user object created inside the Django admin panel. Now to register it, I'll use admin.site.register, and I'm going to register my user model with this user admin class which I have created. After registering the user model in the Django admin panel, I am going into the setting and telling Django, instead of using the default user model, use my user model which I have recently defined. How can I do that? I'll use auth user model, and I'll override the default one by saying that this is my application authentication, and in that I have used this user model. So you will also use the same user model as auth user model.